This is Shaun Sport in podcast form.
Well, we're going to get stuck into the Melbourne Spring Carnival because Channel 10 have got all the action over the next 4 days, and it begins tomorrow. Natalie, it's Derby Day out
and
of
white.
Flemington.
Got the black and white ready to go.
Yeah, speaking of black and white, we're going to catch up with Eddie McGuire.
That is a super segue.
Who will be part of the 10 coverage. And Eddie, we're just talking about wearing black and white, obviously, Derby Day. Oh, that is so close to your heart after the last couple of months.
It is the epitome of fashion, of elegance, of sophistication.
Yeah.
And probably the paradoxical juxtaposition of Collingwood and Derby Day, I suppose, in many ways.
Yes, yeah. The black and white is the common thread, but there's not much else in common, is there?
Hey. Come on now.
Hey, Eddie, actually, before we get stuck into the racing, which I'm keen as mustard for, let's talk.
Yes.
You must have been beside yourself just a month ago.
Oh, it was fantastic, wasn't it? It was just an amazing year. Not a great year for West Australian footy, obviously.
No.
But, you've had some good years. Don't worry about that. And they'll be back soon enough. But, it was wonderful. The big crowds, I think what happened is everyone sort of went, right, okay, we're through COVID now. And the crowds right throughout the year. I mean, the Pies actually, if you take away the, having to play a couple of games down at Marvel, was the number one drawing team in the world outside of college football. And it's unbelievable when you look at that. And,
yeah, that's huge.
95,000. This is in a team that's got 10, a town that's got 10 teams. And when you look at what we do with West Coast and Fremantle do over there at the magnificent Optus Stadium we've got in Perth, and in Adelaide and everything, it's just great. Brisbane Lions were selling out the Gabba every time they played. It's just unreal. And to be honest, it sets up the Melbourne Cup Carnival. We've seen the Caulfield Cup, we've seen Moonee Valley, we see up in Sydney, the Everest. And, my mail is that it's just about a sellout for Tuesday, and the weather's going to be right. I've been out of Flemington. It absolutely looks magnificent. They've got this new area called the Palooza for the younger kids to go and have fun, and, the concerts, and it's got everything. It's just going to be an amazing week of sport and fun in Melbourne.
Yeah, but how are the Roses looking, Eddie?
Well, Luke Ryan.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, Eddie, Luke Ryan from Fremantle, his dad is the curator of the Roses at Flemington.
Yeah, well, he deserves a bonus because I think they've changed a few of the roses. They've replanted. And I drove in last night. I was at a function last night, and they're the size of cabbages. They're unbelievable. They are, and the colour. And they've changed the colour palette. And, of course, you've got all the yellow roses, which is the colour of the roses for Melbourne Cup Day. And, it's you look the length of the Flemington Straight, and all you see is this sea of colour. And driving in through the car park last night, as I said, on both sides, you've got the birdcage on one side and you've got the nursery on the other. And it's just unbelievable. It's mind-blowing what they've been able to do. I mean, it's been going for 163 years, and it is. I've never seen it look better. I was talking to Glenn Boss. He said the same thing. It's just spectacular.
So, Eddie, we'll be watching the coverage on 10 and checking out beginning tomorrow with Derby Day, obviously. Have you been in horses yourself? I've not heard of you purchasing anyone. You see some big names getting around.
Are you like Shaun? Do you have secret horses that his family doesn't know about?
Well, my boys are getting a little bit more into the secret horses at the moment. So they're at the right demographic. I mean, look, for years my wife said Collingwood is your horses and your golf. That's
right.
It. Okay, you can have one or the other. So, look, I mean, I started, working at the barrier at the Melbourne Cup at Channel 10 before I went to Channel 9 when I was a 17-year-old. So, that's been my go. I didn't have any dough to buy horses back in those days, but loved going to the races. I won a trifecta, went overseas, and ended up at the Cheltenham Gold Cup and won some dough there and bought my first tuxedo at Harrods.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Had a couple of good runs like that over the journey. But I don't... I love the sport of it. In fact, it's quite funny this year. I actually haven't had a bet during the whole carnival, and I've watched every race. And I've just sort of wanted to immerse myself just in the sport of it again, and the breeding. And I went up to Ascot this year, and I went to also the Dubai Gold Cup. And I was up in Doha just looking at their facilities up there for horse husbandry, and So I really like. I love the business of it, and I love the romance of the turf. And yeah, of course, I have a bet at times. But to be honest, this year I've just really enjoyed it and fallen in love with the sport of it again.
We've seen Royal Ascot on telly, and we've had a few conversations with people who have gone over there. But what's being in Dubai for the World Cup meeting? Because we're talking lots and lots of cash there.
Yeah, oil money.
Yeah.
Well, actually, but no betting, so it was interesting. But great facilities. But I'll say this is the one thing here, as an international traveller, when we all go overseas, what we do find out is just how unreal we do it here in Australia. And I'm not being parochial. I mean, the racing was unbelievable. I saw Vauban, who will be the favourite to the Melbourne Cup, win by 6.5 lengths. And, unbelievable performance, and has followed that up with some of the track work. It actually, Absurd, who's running, was 6.5 lengths behind it in that race. And More Felons, which is, the weights aren't that different, also was running that week, finished 12, nearly 13 lengths behind. But with Jamie Carr in a bit more form and Chris Waller as the trainer might be something to put in your trifectas. But what you do find over there, the history and the tradition, I think that's what the Melbourne Cup Carnival brings. I love what Peter V'landys is doing in Sydney with the Everest. But, the traditions of, it's the 170th running.
Yeah.
Think about that in Australia. 170th running tomorrow, the Derby, 163rd of the Melbourne Cup. And you've just got this amazing history. But I was there last night at Flemington. It is the best appointed racecourse in the world. It is absolutely magnificent. As I said, with something for everybody, the younger kids out in the nursery, you've got the bird cage and all that corporate activity. And then the lawn is the length of the Flemington Straight. And there's something for everybody. And whether you're dressing up as a nun or you're turning up in an ornament or, this year in the shorts, you have to get those calves out, Shawnee.
Yeah.
You're going to get them out. It is just wonderful. And it starts tomorrow, as you said, there, Natalie, that, tomorrow is the glamour day.
Yeah.
It's this sophistication. It's every race is a black type race, 3 Group 1s. Then you go to the Cup Day, which used to be the day for everybody, and you've got Vauban coming out, but you've got also the horses, local horses involved. Then you go to Oaks Day, and now Champions Day on the Saturday is almost dare I say this out aloud, but in 1 year it's almost become the best racing day with all the races that we know, and horses coming through from the Everest and coming through from the great races at Caulfield and the Moonee Valley and Cox Plate, all running, for the last 3 races of the Carnival now, $3 million each. And all the horses. Mr. Brightside, Zaki, all these great horses, they're all there. It's great.
Yeah, it's going to be great,
cracking
Eddie.
weather too, 29 on Cup Day. That's back in the zone, isn't it?
How good's Mark Zahra? He's actually picked the weather in Melbourne. No one can do that.
Well, that's why he's jumped off Gold Trip in the big race there, Eddie.
Yeah, he's got across the without a fight, and geez, if he pulls that off, then he is a genius.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
well, we'll be watching all the action on Channel 10, of course, and you can stream it also on 10 Play. Eddie, it's going to be a great carnival. Thanks so much for joining us, mate.
Now, can I just say this one more time? Channel 10, Channel 10, Channel 10. For 1 week only, Channel 10, Channel 10, okay?
Nobody understands how you get away with it, Eddie.
I know in Perth no one knows how to turn the channel off 7, but get it over the 10 for the races this week.
Yeah, I'll be doing it,
Good
mate.
on you, Eddie. Thanks, mate.
Oh, great to be catching up with Sophie Devine, who's on fire for the Perth Scorchers at the moment. The girls are doing particularly well, but we need a few more wins on the board. We can go and watch, our Scorchers play the Melbourne Renegades today at 5:40 at the Wacker. Then Sunday, they're up against the Adelaide Strikers. We're going to smash them anyway, so don't worry about that one.
Balmy evening thing to do tonight, wouldn't it?
Well, Sophie loves the heat, of course. Sophie, 36 today. That'll be nice at the Wacker.
Yeah, actually, I was thinking it might actually be a little bit cool for me. So, it's going to be a ripper.
Yeah, your Kiwi roots make you really used to the heat, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is, middle of winter sort of thing for me.
Hey, so before we get stuck, keep going with the cricket talk, I want to ask you how you were feeling after the All Blacks were beaten by South Africa just on the weekend.
Devo?
How could you... I mean, I've only just stopped crying now, and now that you've brought it up, I mean, it's bringing up a bit of emotion, but... it was a great game, and
there can only be there can only be one winner, but you don't want the other team to win.
You don't want it to not be you, yeah.
Yeah, no, look, it was a great game. I mean, I could say a few other things, but I won't. But no, look, was an awesome tournament. I mean, I can't remember exactly, but how did Australia go in that tournament?
Horrendous.
Super segue. But also, that happened the same weekend that the Aussies beat the Kiwis at the Men's World Cup.
Oh, I know. It was a very rough 12 hours for me, I've got to admit. I made a bet with a few of the girls around, when the Black Caps beat the Australian men. And unfortunately, I had to suck that one up. But again, another great game of cricket. I think we gave the Aussies a bit of a scare.
Yeah,
you did.
Yeah. 390 or something ridiculous.
When you're out in a field and the game's really close like that, and particularly when you saw Mitchell Starc bowl the five wides, can you have a go at your teammate, or you kind of just,
grit your teeth and be supportive?
Yeah, well, it's a tough one, isn't it? I mean, I'm sure on the inside you absolutely want to scream at them, but I'm not sure if that's the best look to be hurling abuse at your teammates. But, look, it's one of those things where everyone's trying their best. No one ever means to bowl five wides, although as a Kiwi, we were loving it. We were asking for another five wides, would have really helped. But, no, look, I think it's one of those things you sort of always want to try and be nice and positive.
Hey, so when you said you had a bet with your teammates over the result, do you bet money, or is it like, clean your kit for a week, or is it, what is it?
Yeah,
money
no, definitely not money. The actual bet was to wear a pair of big granny undies on my head. Should we lose? But unfortunately, I couldn't find a pair of granny undies, so I managed to dodge that one.
So just a G-banger then?
Yeah, bit of a face mask.
Yeah, nice.
That's awesome.
It is. That's so good.
Now, Soph, we need to keep ticking along with these wins because we're sitting in fourth position at the moment, up against the Renegades tomorrow.
No,
today, sorry, should I say. Are you ready to rock and roll? Yourself and Beth Mooney are going pretty well so far, certainly with scores.
Yeah, no, look, we're absolutely looking forward to it. We know this competition's been a bit funny this year. Everyone seems to be beating everyone.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important, especially while we get to play at home, that we rack up the wins, so that when we go on the road, we can make sure that we can steal some more. But the great thing about the team this year is we've had plenty of different people step up. Chloe Ainsworth, a young gun from Perth here, has been absolutely lighting up the tournament, as well as a few other players, which, that's awesome. That's what you want to see. Everyone knows Beth Mooney's going to score runs. It's just what she does. But to see the likes of Chloe Ainsworth has been outstanding, Maddie Dark, Chloe Paparo as well. It's just so cool to see the local players stand up and, deliver the goods.
Momentum's such a big thing as well, going through here, because there can be some ups and downs, but you certainly start getting a bit of momentum going away, and all of a sudden you're heading straight into the finals with a lot of confidence as well. Yeah,
you did right. I think for us, we know T20 and in particular these sort of tournaments, you're right, you want to be trying to get on a bit of a roll, and it can be hard to stop. Winning's certainly a habit, and for us, we know if we can start that ball rolling while we're here at home, when we go on the road next week, that we've got a really good level of confidence behind us, and we know that we can beat any team, no matter whether we're at home or away.
Now, Sophie, I hear a rumour that you can add fashion designer to your CV because Sunday is the Indigenous match, and you had a hand in helping to design the outfit. Is that right?
Yeah, I did. It was such an awesome process. So Linda Lou, the designer of the shirt, did an incredible job, and I was fortunate enough, along with Ashton Turner from the men's program, to be able to work alongside her and I guess just go through a bit of storytelling around, I guess, our cricketing journey and obviously the cricketing journey here in WA. It was such awesome, and she's done an incredible job. I absolutely can't wait to wear the shirt on Sunday. I think, to be able to put together what she has been unbelievable. I mean, I've got no artistic ability in my bone whatsoever. I can't even draw stick people. So to see what Linda's been able to produce for us, we're certainly really proud to wear the Indigenous top, and we can't wait for everyone to see it.
Oh, good on you, Linda.
That's so
awesome.
good.
That is fantastic. Hey, so before we let you go, international cricket's always happening around the clock. You're playing here for our Scorchers, and you're also playing in all leagues around the world. How do you get any time off?
Yeah, it's a very good question. You definitely try and find little wee pockets of time. I know for me, I actually haven't been back to New Zealand since about June. I've been on the road, sort of all around the place. But for me, I mean, I'm so lucky to call this my job, so I'm certainly lapping it up. But sometimes it can be literally 3 or 4 days at home or 3 or 4 days at the end of a tour to, I guess, refresh and decompress, almost more importantly, before I go on to the next tournament or the next team. But it's certainly really important that you get those breaks. not just physically, but probably more importantly, mentally for me as well, to make sure I'm good to go and I'm at my best.
So you're a gun for hire, essentially. Where are you headed next after WBBL?
I actually get to go back to New Zealand, which is nice, but we're straight into a series versus Pakistan at home. So I don't quite get to go sleep in my own bed back in Wellington, but certainly nice to at least be in the right country.
Yeah. Oh, so
It's
good luck
amazing.
this afternoon. We can't wait to get you girls over the
Get
top
down there. It's super cheap. Tickets, adults are only $10 and kids under 15 are free. So it is a brilliant sort of family night out.
Yeah, summer vibes tonight.
Yeah, summer vibes. It's going to be so good. Tickets available via Ticketmaster. Thanks for talking to us, Soph.
Awesome. Thanks heaps, guys.
Good on you, Soph.
Get some granny undies for your head. So
Good on you.
Shaun Sport is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.